Hey, my name is Matt Schulke, and my two words before and after are self-centered and servant. My story culminates my junior year of high school when I should have died on the ski slopes of Wausau, Wisconsin. But it all started a few years before that. I became a Christian at a young age, and in high school, I tried to live by those things, but in general, I was a very self-centered person. I was involved in a lot of activities, academic teams, sports, music, my church group, lots of academics. And though I wouldn't have said it at the time, my identity and my value was in my successes. When I did well, I was more important. When I did well, I had more value as a human being. So I was very self-centered in my mindset. Even as I was planning my future and planning to be a doctor and that type of a thing, it was all about me. It was self-centered. It was I want to satisfy my desires and make the most money and have the best family and all these different things. It was even to the point junior year where my girlfriend had to sit me down and say, Matt, people think you're a pretty self-centered, arrogant person. So things kind of came to a head my junior year when I went on a ski trip with my church and we were up at Wausau, Wisconsin at Granite Peak skiing. And make a long story short, I went off a jump and came down head first on another rock. Gave me this scar, if you can see that here. Crushed the skull, penetrated the brain, drove the bone into the brain, and I was out like a light. Um, really, at that point, I should have died. There's a video of it, and yeah, I should have died. At that point, though, the series of coincidences, some might say, that I make me believe that God was truly in control of the situation started happening. The ski lift happened to be right next to the jump, and they saw it happen, and they told the ski patrol that happened to be at the top of the hill. They came down, took me to the hospital that happened to be 15 minutes away, that happened to have a neurosurgeon on call 24/7. I happened to be the only kid in the group wearing a helmet, and it saved my life. All of these things kind of worked together, and even previous years with our church youth group, there weren't any hospitals nearby. So I was rushed into emergency neurosurgery, where the surgeon pulled a piece of bone out of my brain and washed it off. And coming out of the surgery, said maybe in 3 months you'll be able to think again. We're not sure whether you'll actually be able to think to your full capacity ever again. At that point, a group of people started praying for me at my church, and by the next day, there was a Facebook group of 1,000 people praying for me. I was out of the hospital in 5 days. I had no residual therapy. I started classes again, started coming back to school within a month. All of these things together made me really reevaluate my life. It was almost as if God had taken my life, blown it up, and thrown it back together again, and said to me, it's not about you. It's about me. So my life changed after that. I started living for others. I started living for the Lord. The word that would define me would be a servant. I recognized that just as I should have died on those ski slopes, I should have been dead in my sins and was deserving of hell, but God has given me new life, both physically and spiritually. So now my life purpose is to serve Jesus, my King. What that looks like in my life is that as I've gotten involved with activities on campus here, my purpose is to serve others, to show Jesus to others, to follow him. Even 4 years later now, as I'm planning my future, many of my things are the same. I want to be a doctor. I want to go into research. But the priorities and reasons for that are entirely different. Where in high school I held on to those things as tight as I could because they were my plans, now they're the Lord's plans. So if he changes those, I'm okay with that. While I was a self-centered person in the past, I'm a servant now. And I've seen the work that Jesus has done in my life. So thanks a lot for listening.